On everyone. Ever since the New York Knicks acquired Cam Reddish, it just seems like they've been trying to move him. Even when they were looking to acquire Cam Reddish, there were reports that Tibbs just didn't want Reddish, and that became very apparent once Reddish got to the roster. Tibbs really values some of the other guys, Grimes, McBride, Quickly, things like that. And so there's a lot of questions of where does Cam Reddish fit with the New York Knicks. I mean, the Knicks even traded Cam Reddish last season. Cam Reddish was supposed to be heading to the Lakers in a 3-team deal between the Raptors, the Knicks, and the Lakers. But then at the final hour, when they're getting ready to, submit the paperwork to get this deal approved, the Knicks just decided that they wanted another second-round pick, and it just completely blew up the trade, and Cam Reddish stayed with the Knicks. And ever since then, it just seems like every time the Knicks are linked to a trade, it's like Cam Reddish is going somewhere. Even the proposed 3-team trade between the Lakers, the Jazz, and the Knicks, Cam Reddish and Evan Fournier were supposed to be included in that deal. And now we're getting reports that Cam Reddish wants out. He wants to change the scenery, which I don't blame him. He's probably looking around like, I'm not going to get playing time here. Tibbs wants me gone. The team keeps trying to trade me. Why would I want to be here? You want to trade me so bad? Trade me. Figure it out. Let's get a deal done. And I really do think Cam Reddish has a ton of potential. He is a guy that has the size, 6'8", got some wingspan, could be a solid 3-and-D guy, a guy that really has some promise. He just really hasn't gotten a fair shake in the league ever since he was drafted. As soon as Atlanta got Trae Young and everything, and they decided, hey, let's go to a more veteran movement, like let's go more win now than ever before, Cam Reddish immediately got put to the back burner. And then he ends up getting traded to the Knicks because they just don't have space to play him, really. So they end up trading him to the Knicks, and the Knicks don't want him. Tibbs doesn't want to play him. Tibbs didn't want that player. And so he doesn't get playing time. So Cam Reddish is still extremely young, extremely talented, extremely gifted, has all the, tools that you can't learn, such as size and things like that. I really think Cam Reddish, in the right situation, could be an extremely solid player. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar or a star or anything like that, but he could be a low-risk, high-reward guy, a guy that if you give him proper playing time, you give him a real opportunity, he may be able to be, one of your top guys on your team. He may be able to be a solid rotation guy at the worst. I mean, he's a guy that has the youth, is only going to get better, but he needs the opportunity to. If he's just sitting at the end of the bench because, a team's got a bunch of veterans or, a team just doesn't want to play him, well, then what is he supposed to do? He can only do what he's able to do. And so there is a team that has been emerged beyond that. It's not the Lakers for Cam Reddish, and that is the Miami Heat. Miami is being reported per the Heavy that they want Cam Reddish. They think Cam Reddish would be a perfect kind of, placement player. Got the size. They lost guys like PJ Tucker, stuff like that, so they could definitely use the wings and the size. Cam Reddish could play the 4. He could play the 3. Maybe small ball 5, depending on the circumstances. But, hopefully you're not in that situation where you have to do that. Hopefully he's playing the 3 or the 4 spot, which would be great. He could slot right next to Bam, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry. I mean, you would have a really good position for Cam Reddish to play in. He would be a guy that, look, if he can develop into the projected star that he was supposed to be, then Miami might get a real steal at him. Again, he's very young. Miami needs to start getting some of these younger guys. Obviously, they got guys like Tyler Hero. Cam Reddish, if he could kind of develop the way Hero did, that's perfect. Now you got a legit, you got Tyler Hero and you got Cam Reddish. You got your 3-and-D wing. You got your shooting guard. That's a good position to be in if you're the Miami Heat for the future. And, Pat Riley, he's a guy that he's going to make the moves. He's going to go all in. He's going to do what it takes to put a team that is a contender year in and year out. So even after the Jimmy Butlers and, the Kyle Lowrys, because this team is getting old, right? And there's a lot of concerns, is this team going to regress? We've heard the constant trade talks. Miami was Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, even Kyrie Irving, just to get Jimmy Butler some of that support. Jimmy Butler needs somebody that can help him score. And I'm not saying that Cam Reddish is going to be that guy. Cam Reddish is going to come to the Heat and all of a sudden he's going to be a 30-point, 25-point a game scorer. But you want by committee. If Cam Reddish can come in and get you 10 to 15 a game, like that's solid. That is great, and who knows what he could do because he hasn't been given an opportunity. You need to give the guy an opportunity. How do you know if he can be a 15 to 20 point a game guy unless you actually put him in the game and let him get enough run time to do that? And it would be great for Miami because he's a young, sizable asset. And he's a guy that you could, if it doesn't work out, let him go. You could re-sign. You're probably not going to have to pay a ton for him because, he hasn't had an opportunity. So it's not like teams are going to be lining up to give him a max or something like that. I mean, he's only making like just under $6 million right now anyway. Maybe you bump that up to $10 million. Maybe give him like a 4-year, $40 million deal, something like that. You might not even have to pay him that much, because Cam Reddish just wants to be somewhere where he's wanted. He just wants to be somewhere where he can play and prove himself. So if you're Miami and you can make that deal and you can trade for him, you lock him up long term. My concern is, what is Miami trading to the Knicks for Cam Reddish? What are they giving up? Because the Knicks, they're not going to want any sizable salary guys. And I don't think Miami's trading Tyler Hero. So what? You trading like a Vincent and a couple firsts, or maybe a Strus and Vincent and a couple first, or a first, because that kind of seems to be what the Knicks want, is they want a first for Reddish. I don't think they're going to get it, even from Miami. I think teams know, hey, you're not even, you need to get rid of this guy. You lose him for nothing. You gave up a pick for him. So, lose him. Go ahead. We'll give you maybe a second. Even the Lakers, that was the whole conversation, was that the Lakers wouldn't be giving up picks to go get Cam Reddish, or if they did, it would be a second round at the worst. So Miami, they know that too. There's no way that they're going to say, oh, well, you were basically going to include Cam Reddish and Evan Fournier for free in the Jazz and Lakers deal, and now you want a first and stuff like that? No, I don't think the Knicks are going to get the asking price for Cam Reddish. So the thing is, do they keep him on the team and just lose him, or do they try to, get a second round pick or, something? I can see a team, like Miami, even like the Lakers, things like that. Maybe even some other teams that come out of the woodwork, some of the younger teams, like maybe even like a Detroit or something, that's like, hey, we'll a second round pick, that's worth taking a flyer on Cam Reddish. Or maybe even like the Pacers, right? The Indiana Pacers, they need to fill in some salary because, I believe they're $17 million under the floor, something like that. So maybe you give up a second, go get a guy like Cam Reddish. He's young, play multiple positions, things like that. I just think Miami could be a really good change of scenery for Cam Reddish. I really do. I think Cam Reddish, would thrive under the Heat culture, under the Heat, system, stuff like that. You got veterans that are going to keep him focused and keep him in line, guys like Jimmy Butler, Udonis Haslem, stuff like that. Even Pat Riley. You got the guys that they're not going to let Cam Reddish, be a lazy or let him, miss out on stuff or not give 100% effort. And I think that that's what he needs, because there's a lot of questions about Cam Reddish's work ethic and stuff, even dating back to the Duke days. He was the guy that was willing to come off the bench, and it was like a lot of that talk was, okay, well, the reason he is because he doesn't want to work as hard. He wants to, and I don't know if that's true or not, who knows? None of us really know, So is he a guy that's going to come in for Miami? Because Miami's very strict on their culture. They're very strict on what they expect from their players. Miami even has its own physical that you have to pass, that they won't even let you play for the team unless you pass that physical. And it's not like a league physical. It's like Miami's just the only team that has that, because they want their players to be and have a certain standard and a certain ethics and a certain, work ethic, things like that. And so if Cam Reddish can buy into that, I think this would be a great fit for Cam Reddish. I really do, because I think, again, he would have the Udonis Haslems. He would have the Jimmy Butlers that are going to be in his ear, telling him, dude, you can be great. You can do this. You came to this spot. We're going to give you the opportunity, but you got to earn it. You got to work hard. You got to put in the energy. You got to put in the effort, put in the hours, things like that. And I think if Cam Reddish buys into that, I really am high on Cam Reddish, more so than probably most people, because I think he's young enough to where he has so much room to still become great. And he was a guy that many people thought was going to be a great player. I mean, he was a lottery pick, So, I mean, he still could be that projected guy, I mean, he's still younger than half the people drafted this year. If he was drafted this year, the Knicks would be looking at him as he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and like this, and fans and stuff like that would be talking about Reddish. Like, you're no way you're gonna trade Reddish. But the thing is, now he's been in the league. What this will be his third year, something like that. So now people are looking at it like he's a bust. No, he's not a bust. He hasn't had an opportunity. The guy hasn't had a fair shake since he came in the league. Because as soon as he came in the league, Atlanta went and got, Bogdan, and they got, they ended up getting Gallinari and all these guys. Like, they ended up getting all of these veteran guys that played the same position as him because they wanted to try to go more win now. And they were in the Eastern Conference Finals and stuff. So, of course, they're going to trade him and unload him because they're like, we don't need him. He's just sitting on our bench, and we don't want to have to try to find playing time for him. So, we got these guys, we got these veteran guys. We're trying to go this direction rather than that direction. So let's unload Reddish. New York was like, we'll give up a pick. And Tibbs was like, I don't want Reddish. But the Knicks did it anyway. And now look, Tibbs doesn't give him a fair shake. He's hardly plays in the games. He's not in a position to where he can get hot or get in a rhythm or get in a flow or actually showcase what he's capable of. But if you went to a team like Miami, Miami likes to run deep. And so Reddish is going to get probably 15 plus minutes a game to really showcase his talents, really develop, really grow and, become that solid role player. At worst, you got a 6'8", 3-and-D guy that can play multiple positions. It's a pretty good spot to be in. If that's the absolute worst case, that's a pretty good worst case, unless he's just absolutely unplayable, but I don't think that that's going to happen. I think he's still young enough, he's still talented enough, he's still good enough to where, at his size, he's going to be a solid guy. Can he just knock down threes at a reasonable rate? We'll see. We'll see because, it's one thing to just, shoot 1 or 2 threes a game. It's another thing to shoot 5 or 6 a game. There's big differences in that. But I think Miami would be a great landing spot for Cam Reddish. I think Cam Reddish would be great in Miami. And, those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think, Miami, go get Cam Reddish? I don't imagine the asking price is going to be very high. I don't at all. Like I said, the Knicks, they want a first-round pick. That doesn't mean they're going to get it. And if I'm the Heat, I'm definitely not giving them a first-round pick for it. I'm saying, hey, if you want to work out a deal, we'll give you like a second or something. But you're not getting picks for him, or a first at least. And, but do you think Cam Reddish would be a good target for the Heat? I mean, I do think that he would add some depth. He gets them some more size, which they need. And I think he could be a guy that really solves a lot of problems. So do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? Do you think Reddish would really thrive with Miami and that culture and just those vets like Udonis Haslem, Jimmy Butler, those guys that are just lighting a fire under him, saying like, hey, get it together, let's go. Like, it's time for you to be great. Or do you think like, no, like those guys would run him out of Miami? No, however you feel about it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.